Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Well, today we're going to jump back into Manor 2025 series part 3. So as you guys know, this is going to be a 10-foot display. I've got the first 4 feet of that display done, or at least close to being done. It's done enough where I can show you the progress since the video number 2. And then I can start working on something else, which we'll talk about at the end of this video. But hey, with that, let's jump in and see how Manor 2025 edition is shaping up. Okay, so here we are with the latest addition to Manor. This is going to be the left side of the display. Or at least I believe it is. It's anticipated that's what it's going to be. But I just wanted to show you how it sits and how it's looking since you last saw it. I've been hard at work at this. I've got some of the detail down. Now, I don't know that all of these people and these kids in the parade is going to be on this particular piece. They will be in Manor for sure, but I just wanted to kind of show you how this looks somewhat decorated, and then kind of why I did some of the things that I did. So if you remember back to the last part of this fence, the spooky wrought iron fence was not there. We had another fence that I was anticipating that I was going to put on there. I was going to build a wall to hold it, sort of like that is around the Haunted Mansion or around the Raven, my cemetery. I can't even think of the name of it, is Raven Hill Cemetery. But I decided to forego that, and I wanted to put the spooky wrought iron fence in there. And the reason that I did that is because I want to carry the spooky wrought iron fence theme through the entire piece, including the cemetery piece in the middle. So I've changed a couple things in the cemetery. We'll have to do another video to kind of showcase all of that. I've started working on that piece. That'll be out here in a week or two, depending on when we get back, obviously, from our vacation. But we'll talk about that when we get there. But the spooky wrought iron fence is now the mainstay of this. I think it looks great. I mean, it is, no kidding, Department 56 fencing. It was made for a reason, and I'm using the spooky wrought iron gate in the cemetery now instead of the other gate. So we'll get all to all that. But I have put down some of the fall leaves. Now these are all glued down. They are all water glue mixtured on there. So what you see is what you get. They're not going anywhere. As we move back to the grass, you can, Christmas, it's hard as a rock. It's really water glued down. It's not going anywhere. And you see how the house sits and fits in and around that grass. And if we kind of come up and look, that's why I painted it. You can see a little bit of the paint. Actually, you can't. That's just a different piece of grass. So very good job on this particular house. You'll see on the next house, which we'll have to cover with some shrubs and things like that when we get there, that it doesn't look as good as the Victorian house. We'll talk about the fence, the privacy fence in the back, and how that's incorporated in. And then as we come down the sidewalk, you can kind of see how everything is taking shape. There is some sand in the road. Again, that is all glue water mixture. That's not going anywhere, or for the most part. I haven't dusted any of this off. So you still see some of the leaves that kind of went haywire. Those will all move unless I put a drop of glue and just keep them there. But that sand is not going anywhere. You've got more fall leaves going up the entryway into Grimsley Manor. And then here is where I was showing, so big difference here, and you can see, at least I can see, especially around that place there. But that's why the paint's there, right? So that's why you do that, because if I hadn't said anything, it's not real obvious, and we can do a couple of things. Now that the house is there, we can dab a little bit of glue in the areas that we know that it needs it. Put some more moss down and let it dry, or we can simply place a bush or a prop of some sort there, and you would never be any wiser. Nobody would, really. It's not, if you're looking that close, something's amiss. Again, I don't know that these September oaks, I like them. They're beautiful. They're the right size. I don't know that they'll stay there. They probably will. I like them. You know me, though. I like symmetry. I've got 3 on this side. I don't have any more. I may have to go out and purchase another set of those. But we'll see. And then you see how the driveway goes up. Something that bothers me a little bit, I haven't determined if I'm really going to fix it or not. And how I would fix it is maybe take a little bit of mortar or a little bit of spackle and just kind of put it into that crack there, and then, kind of repaint that a little bit gray. But then I'm thinking, do I really need to do that? I don't know. It bothers me a little bit. It's worse on the other side, on this side, than it is on this side. So I don't know. But you can kind of see going up the driveway. Let me kind of get down here just a little bit lower. You can see you've got more sand there. You've got a pile of the fall leaves, and then you're kind of going up into the driveway there. Now, I don't have anything plugged in here. When it's all said and done, the garage has got a couple of lights on it. The pumpkin lights up, the car headlights light up. You will obviously see Grimsley Manor lit up. You'll see the Victorian house lit up, and then made a change, right? So let's talk about why I did this change. So here we've got Hazel's Haunted House. This is one of my favorite Department 56 pieces. One of the first pieces I got, quite honestly. I ended up getting it when I started getting into this hobby in 2020. You ordered this off of Amazon. It showed up a couple days later. I was incredibly excited about it, and I love the house. It is all resin. You already know how I feel about most of the resin stuff. This is the only, I'd say this is one of just a few resin houses that I have. As you know, the new Department 56 Disney World Haunted Mansion is completely resin. I love it too. But I really do like this one. I just like the whole shape, the genre. I love the fall leaves. It does not have as much detail on it as a porcelain house like this, but in its own right, it is very cool. So why did I change it? Why did I put it here? Because if you remember from the last video, we had Mordecai Mansion here. Well, I forgot crazily that Mordecai Mansion, one of my dogs is going crazy. I apologize. Okay, so what I forgot is Mordecai Mansion also comes with, it doesn't come with, it's an accessory item, is the doghouse for Killer. And I have the doghouse for Killer. And by the time I had put in the stairway and had measured the house and did everything I needed to do, the doghouse would have had to sit right there where that tree's at. And it was going to be too close to the garage. And it almost is, it's just a little bit smaller than the garage. It's quite a bit smaller than the garage. But still, I didn't want 2 pieces like that right there. It seemed almost too crowded. So I made a command decision, last minute decision, that we're going to put Hazel's Haunted House here instead of Mordecai Mansion. I want a sort of a scary house, a haunted house, one of the houses that the kids are like, there's rumors in that house, and have been rumors in that house since we were in grade school. I wanted that kind of house next to the cemetery. And so that meant Hazel's Haunted House on one side and Mordecai Mansion on the other. And so Mordecai will be on the other side of the graveyard, and this time with the anticipation of Killer's doghouse along with it. Long-winded story to let you know that's why we changed it. But I love this house, and I love Hazel. She is so freaking cool. She's crazy, clearly. She's missing her dog, but she's out walking it in with an umbrella. She looks She looks a little distraught. She is a crazy cool character. I did a review on this house, I believe, on my reviews. Just go into that playlist and you'll see the review on Hazel's Haunted House. This is a great house. I love it. But that is there, and that is going to be sitting then next to the graveyard, which will come out this way. And you'll see all of that and how it makes sense. But this one is essentially done. So here's some interesting tidbits of information. The road has been completely redone. And so why did I redo the road? Well, I didn't want to. I didn't even mean to, but when I put this out in the heat of the storage shed, just let the sun beat down on it after I put the grass down and the glue water mixture. It needs to sit out there and bake and cure for a day or two. And so what happened is, because I had that big seam in the road where the two boards at the bottom come together, I threw another piece of road over top of that to make it one seamless road. Well, what I learned is the anti-skid tape doesn't stick well to the top side of anti-skid tape. And so, and I knew that. I saw it wasn't sticking completely like it was supposed to, but it seemed to be sticky enough to work. And so I dirtied it up. You saw, I believe, that at least in the last video. And then I put it out in the shed, and I came back 2 days later, and that piece had curled up and you just pulled it straight off. So then I pulled the original tape off, and because I knew I wanted one continuous piece of tape. So I've learned, and I'm actually running the tape this time all the way down and around. Just makes it so much easier, I think. And it's going to help it secure that way. And so anyway, that's how I've done it, and that's how I'll do it on the other 4-foot section. It's exactly how I'll do it on the 2-foot section, which is going to be the graveyard. Okay, so let's now talk about the fence in the back, and we'll take a different look at this. But I think as we just kind of go down the street here, that fence is so incredibly cool. That fence is in 4 sections, a foot at a time. It took a lot of popsicle sticks. It took a lot of patience. It took a lot of cutting, but it's done. And so how does it look? Well, let's come around to the back of this display. Let me show you how this looks. Sorry, I ran into something behind me. Okay, so as we come around to kind of see this fence and how we did this, you can see knot holes, the paint, and everything else. And as we come behind it, it's not painted in the back, per se, because it doesn't need to be. This is the back of the display, and nobody's going to be able to see this. But what I did do, and let me readjust here, what I did accomplish, and I want you guys to see, there is a hole right there for the cord to come out of this house, right down through a little slot there, and right under this fence. This fence simply picks up, and you can see the holes down there that it goes into. You can see the slot running right there for the cord, and then the fence goes into that hole right there. And then if we kind of pull this fence up, this is what we're left looking at. This is what our fence looks like. And this is just like the fence that I made for the Creepy Circus. Same concept. It is they're not dowel rods, but they're thicker. They're like hardwood that you can buy in like a 3-foot section at Hobby Lobby. I cut them, I think 3.5 inches long by 12, and then laid them out on a cutting mat, and lined them up, and then hot glued everything to them, hot glued them all together. So that's what the fence looks like. So as we put this in, there's 4 sections, but again, just kind of line it up. The cords will go in first, the fence will be one of the last things to go in, and then it simply just slides into place. And that is as difficult as it gets. You can see the garage. So here is the garage. Here is the cord. coming out of the back of the garage, running through the little divot that I made here, and then the cord just kind of sits back here. The power surge protectors will all be behind it, and then you can see the last divot right there. And I just did that with a hot wire tool right at the bottom, right at the base, just sort of at an angle, kind of from low to high. And that's where that's at. And there you can see a little bit more of the paint from behind on Hazel's Haunted House. Nobody will see that, but you can kind of see why we paint it, or why I paint it green around the foundation. This one also sits very, very good. So that's what the fence looks like. That's how the fence was made, a little behind the scenes action there. And yeah, I'm really digging the way this has come together. I like the way this is turning out so far. I think this is going to be a very detailed Manor row. I already love the brickwork and the stacked stones, or the armor stone, if you want to call it that. I think that turned out really nice. I did have to go through with a paintbrush and a little bit of paint and touch it up a little bit more, just to make it the way that I wanted it, a little bit darker than what it was originally showing. A lot of paint comes off, unfortunately, in the curing and wiping down of the grout. There's no getting around that. And so what I did is took a fine, small little brush and was able to go around and touch some of those up. It does take a little bit of work, but in the long run, I think it looks a whole lot better and a whole lot more natural. So I love the way this looks. This already, to me, looks much better than the original Manor row. So I'm very, very excited to see the rest of this progress through. I'm very excited to see how this one is going to turn out. Now, I may put a few more details certainly into this. I don't want to overcrowd it for sure, but I am going to have some folks in the yard doing some stuff. There's all sorts of accessories to put in the yards, bagging of the leaves or raking of the leaves, and more trees and more shrubs. So that will all be in there. And I think this is going to be the more crowded side of the neighborhood, if that makes sense. And the reason is because we've got the Victorian house, we've got Grimsley's, we've got the garage, and we've got Hazel's. So what that leaves us then on the other side is just 3 homes. So we're not going to have that garage, so we can spread the homes out a little more, which means the yards will be a little bigger, and we can put some other accessories into that side of the neighborhood, probably a little bit easier than we can on this one. And those 3 houses on the other side will be Mordecai, Gravely Estate, and Ghastly's Haunted Villa are going to be the 3 houses on that side of the cemetery. And then the cemetery is coming along. We've started work on that one. I'll do a video to show you where we're at and where we're going and what it's starting to shape up like. I think you guys are going to be really impressed. I was not sure in the beginning of how I was going to actually do the cemetery, but I've incorporated a couple of items that you guys are going to be, I think you're going to be, digging it. I think you're going to be excited to see how it turns out, just like I am. And we'll get to that one here in a couple of weeks after I get back off of vacation. So, all right, well, that is a much better and closer look at what I'm going to call at least this portion of Manor Row 2025 edition done. Okay, well, hopefully you enjoyed that, especially almost the finished product, a little behind the scenes tour there to show how we did the fence and how the slots were cut with the hot wire foam tools to get the cords. Really, the cords are just going to basically slide off the back of this. The only cord that I'm going to have to bury and get away with is going to be some pieces on the graveyard. Also, what I failed to mention during the video, street lights are not on this particular piece yet. So it's not completely finished. I've got to do street lights. I'll do those towards the end. I am going to put all of these display bases on some foam feet, some foam felt, those round circles about yay big that's going to sit, 5 or 6 under each section of this, because we've got, especially since I run the anti-skid tape underneath the bottom. Well, our cabinets are wood and they're white and they're painted and varnished and slacked or whatever. It's got a clear coat on it. What I don't want to do is slide these on there and damage the top of the countertop. So I would have done that anyway, but there's going to be some feet on the bottom of that. All saying that because once I put the street lights in, the wires are so thin, I don't need to run anything, as far as like a tunnel underneath to bring the wires out. They will just simply sit underneath that and run all the way to the back, as you've seen on some of the other projects that we've made. So I'm going to have 2 street lights, I know, on the one that you see behind me. I'm going to have 2 street lights plus a gate, I believe, in the cemetery, and then I'm going to have an additional 2 street lights on the piece just like this that we haven't even started to build yet. So we're talking probably 6 total street lights on this particular project. That'll all be done. Obviously, I've got to do the hot wire foam tool to just kind of poke a hole straight down in through the sidewalk is where those wires will go. You'll never see them when the street lights are there. And it's a pretty easy way to hide the cords and make it look ultra realistic. So that has to be done on this particular base. Other than that, I think this one is pretty well done. A few more decorations once we actually set it up, but the majority of the work on this one is done. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. I have certainly had a blast making this. If you remember back just a few short weeks ago, I was having difficulty and trouble in getting motivated, and now I'm knocking this stuff out. I'm making videos in advance, so while we're away on vacation, you'll still have videos to watch. And so I've got another 4 or 5 videos coming your way while we're going to be out of the country on our vacation. So the bug has got me. I think it's part of getting some of the new stuff and being able to incorporate some of that stuff into these villages. Irrespective of what it is, the motivation's back, and I'm just ready to keep on building. And there's goodness in that. So, hey, if you've enjoyed this video, make sure you click the like button. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, what are you waiting for? Make sure you subscribe. It certainly helps me out. It helps the channel to grow. Click that bell icon to get notified of every single video that comes out. And if you know folks that love this hobby as much as you and I do, make sure you share the video with them and let them enjoy what it is that we get to do here on this channel. Well, that's going to do it for this one. I hope you guys have enjoyed it. We're going to be out of town for the next few weeks, next couple of weeks, enjoying ourselves, but can't wait to get back and get started into this again. So in the meantime, enjoy some of the videos that are going to be coming out automatically. Take care of yourselves. God bless each and every one of you. I love you guys. I love this channel. And we'll talk to you all again real soon.